Hi guys. Today I wanted to do a vlog, and I just wanted to talk to you about me. Um, I was told by a lot of people that I should kind of get more used to talking in front of the camera, so I decided to go and have a go, and just let myself go a little bit. Um, and I also wanted to ask you guys a little bit more about the content. So if you guys like what's coming up from the Saints Row video, the Sims 3 video, and the Battlefield videos, if it should be more for FPS shooters or for, I guess, different types of games. Give me some input. I also wanted to talk about all the other stuff that I put up. So confidence, teamwork, working with other people. And it's really strange because ever since I put it up, I have been having some problems with confidence and working with other people that I really don't like too much. So it was quite challenging, and I had to kind of go back on what I told myself, which was interesting. And I also wanted to tell you guys, I guess, a little bit more about my background, because everybody's always confused and thinks I'm English or American or Canadian, and I'm really not. I haven't lived in America or any part of that part of the Western world, and I'm actually Dutch. So it's a little bit strange. International student, that kind of thing, and I am Dutch, but I haven't lived there either. So that just complicates the story even more, and it's really a long story. So just to get it straight, I am Dutch. I have a Dutch passport. My parents are Dutch, and I go there every single year. And I'm going this year to celebrate New Year's Eve, which is going to be lots of fun. And I've lived in 9 different countries. Yay! Wow, really amazing. Um, so the pros and cons of that is that you can make friends really, really easily. You meet people from around the world who are into different things and come from completely different backgrounds. And also you meet you encounter lots of different people from different cultures who speak different languages. And you also learn about the bubble life, I call it the bubble life, of, I would say, the army people, the embassy people, the people who work in government, and those who are very, very privileged in certain countries, which also makes it very interesting, because there's a little pattern that goes around. It's a small world, is what I'm saying. The negatives of it are that you can make friends really easily, but you can break off with them really quickly too, because you know that you have to adapt. You know that you're gonna have to say goodbye. And I know that for the people who lived in a country and saw people come and go, I think it was harder for them, because they knew that if they made a friend, they would have to say goodbye or after 2 to 3 years. And I would have to say I'm in London at the moment, so at the moment it's a completely different experience, because it's huge. I've never been in a city that was this huge. I remember I came here for New Year's, and I saw the people, and I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And there were just Asian people, black people, white people, and for me, like, I used to live in Africa, and they'd be like, whoa, it's a Chinese person. Or in Romania, they'd be like, they'd be really confused. They'd be like, what is she doing here? So it's really nice. It's so big. You get to meet so many different people, and it's kind of it's great. I really like it, and I guess that makes it a huge difference compared to other countries I've lived in, because in contrast to London, it's they're tiny little cities, tiny little countries. I think if you live in New York or perhaps Beijing and all the big metropolitan cities like Paris, Tokyo, it might be the same. I haven't actually been to Tokyo or Beijing, but that's not the point. The point is that it's a city, and all these different people and classes are intermixing with each other, which brings me to another interesting subject I was talking about the other day, which is class. Coming to London, I also realized that there's still that huge class in like hierarchy in this country, as in that if you are upper middle class, white, and you've lived in London for your whole life, and your parents went to Oxford or Cambridge, and your great grandfather was, I don't know, in the government or something. There's a pattern going on right there, and that it's kind of a little bubble integrated, and it's really funny because I've got somebody who lives in that bubble, who I know, and just doesn't seem to understand or cope how ordinary people live, even though they see them every single day, and live amongst them. It's a very strange experience, and I have to say, coming from Holland, that's a little bizarre as well, because I think in Holland, the rich get taxed heavily, and therefore there isn't really a huge class difference between all the different people. So there's a lot of middle class, like I guess Sweden and Denmark and all of those countries, but there's not really a huge gap between the rich and the poor, which I really experienced when going to Africa or Romania, and I'm sure in China right now that's quite big as well, because there's a whole economic boom, and there's like a small percentage who hold all of the power, and the majority of the people who then work in factories and then start riots and don't get paid enough, don't have enough sleep, all these different things, and I just thought that was quite interesting coming to London, because it's so on the surface. You wouldn't really know it when you first come, because you think, oh, the English are so lovely, they've got manners, and it's all this high culture of politeness, which is part of English culture. I do have to say the English people are the funniest. I really enjoy the television shows. They're so witty. I find that really hard to find in other different countries, just because I think it's inherent inside their culture to be funny. If something bad happens, it's just, they make a joke about it, they write a letter, and if I don't know, if it were in another country, something like that same problem would happen to the person, they would go completely ballistic. Well, the English just complain and just continue, which is something I find quite funny as well. I also it's such a big city, and I don't think I can get tired of it. I remember I went to Holland to a production company asking if I could work there the year after I graduated. And he was like, okay, well, what is your background? What have you done? And how do you see yourself in the business? And I told him, I've traveled around the world a lot. I know lots of different people, different cultures, and I'm interested in working in your company because I want to know about the film business. I'm Dutch. I want to go back to my roots like my parents tell me to. And ironically, he said, you know what, you're not fit for this country. You're like, you've traveled too much, you know too much, and really you wouldn't fit inside the industry, because we make 2 to 3 feature films a year, and the majority of them are for younger children, and the rest we import in from America, from all the other places. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. I wouldn't be able to fit in, because Holland is tiny. I remember staying there for the summer. I was babysitting some friends with my sister, and I got bored so quickly, just because I didn't know too many people there, and I was going outside of the city to a little town called Monnikendam to look after the kids, and I'm not very much of a drug person, so I'm not going to go to Amsterdam and just take drugs and get high like everybody thinks Holland is, and it's not a good thing. And it was, I don't know, like, I guess London is different just because I can wake up every single day and do something that I want to do, because there's so many activities, exhibitions, festivals, events. Like right now there's a Eurogamer Expo 2012, which I should actually have a ticket for, but I don't. And yeah, I mean, like, what else is going on? There's film festivals going on. I'm gonna go to the London Film Festival and check that out. It looks really exciting. There's like 100 different films playing. There's like the secret cinema where you can go get a ticket. Listen to this. I'm not sure if you have this in other countries, but if you don't, you should definitely try to get it into your country, because this is amazing. You get a ticket, and it's not like a natural normal cinema. It's quite expensive to get the ticket. It'll be like I think it's like £34 or something for one ticket. But you go with friends, and it's not about watching the film itself, but it's about the whole experience of going with your friends and checking the film out. So for example, if they had Ghostbusters, you'd have to come in a costume. You'd have to wear, I don't know, completely white like a janitor, and you go with friends, and you only get the email about where the film is going to be exhibited the day before the film is exhibited. So you have to book a certain day when you know you're free 100% and you can't delay it for any other reason. And you go with friends, and they tell you, you know, with a secret email saying you have been selected for the Ghostbuster, I don't know, whatever, to eliminate all the ghosts. Please come in this costume, and then arrive at, I don't know, Piccadilly Square and follow the man in purple. And it's a really strange request. And you go there, and there's hundreds of other people wearing a completely white like jumpsuit looking for a purple man, and then that purple man leads you to a certain place where you then watch Ghostbusters together, and then everything is Ghostbuster themed, so they could have something like marshmallows like while you're watching the film. And it's very creative, and it's not about the film itself, but it's about the going to the film that has made it popular. And I really like that idea.